Hey, this is Joe from Citrus County Porch Life, bringing you another AA word of the day, and the word for November 26, 2024, the hazards of publicity. People who symbolize causes and ideas fill a deep human need. We of AA do not question that. But we do have to soberly face the fact that being in the public eye is hazardous, especially for us. As a recovered alcoholic, I must make an effort to put into practice the principles of the AA program, which are founded on honesty, truth, and humility. While I was drinking, I was constantly trying to be in the limelight. Now that I am conscious of my mistakes and my former lack of integrity, it would not be honest to seek prestige, even for the justifiable purpose of promoting the AA message of recovery. It is the publicity that centers around the AA fellowship and the miracles it produces not worth much more. Why not let people around us appreciate by themselves the changes that AA has brought in us? For that will be far better recommendation for the fellowship than any I could make. This is certainly a packed message, and it lives out continually today. I think in the early 90s, when I got sober, perhaps before, but I didn't notice it because I had no desire to get sober, I started to see a lot of celebrities celebrate that they were in 12-step programs. They didn't say AA, but 12-step is sort of a key word for AA. And I may have mentioned it in other videos, but in Rhode Island, we had a very exclusive recovery center. It was in Newport, and it was in one of the old mansions in Newport. So it was right on the water, beautiful setting. And in those days, the insurance companies would let you get like 2 weeks or a month. I know it was very generous time, and that's no longer possible unless you've got a big out of pocket expense. And some of them are private and don't accept insurance, so you got to pay out of the pocket. Well, anyway, this place was beautiful. And the guy who ran it was very high profile, always talking about how he overcame his struggles with alcoholism. And I'm not telling anyone's story. I'm just telling you what appeared on TV for the public to see. And this guy was very famous in Rhode Island for having helped so many people. Well, he was doing a TV interview on one of the local Rhode Island stations, and they were asking about sobriety and everything. And I remember seeing that on television, and I looked at him, and I knew something was wrong. He was glassy-eyed, very pompous. He didn't quite have the humility that it speaks of here. Humility is a very, very, probably the most crucial of all the characteristics an alcoholic could have to maintain success. And he's talking to the reporter, and she asked him a question, and he lit a cigarette, making a joke that he hadn't give that up, but that would be next. And he turned a cigarette around after he lit it and put the lit end in his mouth, not knowing that he had done that, and burned his lips, and they cut off. And it turned out he was very drunk during the interview. Now, every alcoholic struggles. Many, many, many people have slips and get back, but they do it in anonymity. And I'm not talking about, uh, making the organization look bad, because to people in the organization, while it's not recommended that you have a slip, people do, and they're accepted and they're welcome back. But they don't go out on a slip in front of a camera. Who knows how many people say, well, that's what I thought. That's just a way to get your money and it doesn't help you at all. I don't know the particulars about. I did have a friend who went there. I don't know the particulars about how they ran the programs. I just saw them during visiting hours. So it was very sad, one, to see the man in the condition that he was in, and two, even more horrifying, that people might think that AA did not work, because he had talked about 12-step meetings there around the clock, and just, I don't know, very sad. And people then gave the facility there, I can't remember the name of it, but started calling it Cirrhosis by the Sea, which was a pretty big dig. And I don't know whatever became of him. Eventually, when the insurance payments dried up for long stays at the facility, it couldn't survive without that revenue stream, so it closed down. And like I said, in the early '90s, a lot of actors and actresses in Hollywood got up and said about the benefits of the 12-step programs and let everybody know that they were in them. And as it mentions in here, that might be a boost to people at least exploring AA. But when someone fails, there's something about that you probably lose more people. Well, if it didn't work for them and they got all the support and this and that, and it's that great, what happened? And so we stick to humility and we stick to anonymity, which is a great part of humility, at the level of the press. You don't have to do it at a meeting, though most people have a kind of form of anonymity, never referring to people with their last name. Although when I introduce myself to fellow AA members, it's always as, Joe and Gilbody, my last name. And so there are certain hazards of publicity. You would think, oh, that's great, all that notoriety, and people would be flocking to AA meetings. Well, when they fall hard. I think the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And it's kind of sad to see that, especially when you see it in public or you see them going to jail for something they did while not sober. So this is one of those readings you want to keep forward. I'm always thinking of that. I don't want to do anything to discourage other people from getting the benefit of AA. And luckily, so far, I've maintained my sobriety. In March, I'll be coming up on 34 years of continuous sobriety. And it truly is a miracle. So I try to remember this daily. Daily. Not that anyone's banging on my door asking me to do telephone interviews. But it is definitely a hazard. And we remain humble and anonymous. So have a great, safe, and sober 26th, and we will see you tomorrow.